All right, today I want to talk about the music industry and how it stifles creativity, but not in the way you think it is, because you could be talking about, like, oh, the modern music isn't as good as the past music, but we're not really talking about that. We're talking about record labels and ownership and licensing agreements, particularly, because what I've been sensing is that one of the issues with the way the music industry works is that the licenses are super cost prohibitive. So the only people that can actually have access to the wide swath of music libraries that exist are the traditional media ecosystems that are willing to pay millions upon millions of dollars to license certain music catalogs. So then you end up with, like, big blockbuster movies are able to use whatever music they want. Big series are able to use whatever music they want. But the average Joe YouTuber can't use the music because the license is too cost prohibitive. And that limits their ability to be creative on those platforms. Because I've thought about it this way: whenever you have a scene in a movie that's at, like, a club or a bar or some other location, and the music in the background, if it's not real music that real people listen to, that loses the effect that that scene can possibly have. And that ends up being an issue because it means that only big blockbuster movies or big series, Netflix, etc., can have access to that vibe. Whereas anyone else trying to elicit that sort of feeling has to get a lesser version of that. And we already see how people are able to be more creative in the short form video, because the short form videos, I don't know how YouTube or TikTok made their licensing agreements, or Meta made their licensing agreements with the music labels, but because people are allowed to use small snippets of real music, then you end up with these high velocity trends that can happen because of in the short form video realm, which you just can't get in longer form video on YouTube, or other long form video content platforms, podcasts, etc. So I think that's a real missed opportunity for the music industry. Now it's a question of, like, okay, can they make money off that model? Like, if you had a licensing agreement where it's like, okay, the license is cheaper, but because more people would buy that license, then we can make up our cost. Or you can just have, like, a rev share model. I mean, they already do the rev share model with the short form videos, where there's a bucket for YouTube, there's a bucket for the creator, and there's a bucket for the music label. Like, if they just did that, but for the long form video, instead of taking all the money like they do currently, then that would allow you to be able to use that content and get more creative with it. I don't know. It's very annoying system to me, because why is it the case that rock and roll is just relegated to the trailer of blockbuster movie? That's pretty much every time you ever hear that music is in that setting. And maybe we can get around this with, like, in future, when there's more independent content creators of music, then those independent content creators would be more willing to license their music at a cheaper fee compared to a record label that would obviously license their whole library at, like, a way higher markup. So you might be able to see some interesting things in the future if independent artists are like, yep, you can use my song, it's perfectly fine, just pay this fee, or or I want this rev share with it. And then you can have, like, different models that way. And I think that that would allow for a lot more creativity. That's how I think things like that are how YouTube takes over traditional media, if it hasn't already, because you just can't do a blockbuster movie on YouTube per se, or not in the same way, because you're limited in your music catalog, unless you have the same budget as, like, those major movie studios, which you don't. So yeah. Anyway, those are my quick thoughts on music industry, music big labels, and how they're limiting the ability for people to be the ability for smaller content creators to be creative. Now, sure, there's an argument to be made of, oh, they found a way to get around it through using non-copyright music and all that sort of thing, and buying memberships to the non-copyright music libraries and that sort of thing. But you get a lot of this sameness in the types of soundtracks that YouTubers use because of that limitation. And I don't know whether or not that's a good thing. Anyway, yeah. So, like if you like, Dislike if you dislike. Leave a comment letting me know why you like or dislike. And subscribe. I never say subscribe. So see you all next time. I'm still working on writing an essay so that I can do like a larger thing, but that's taking some more time than I thought it would. So we're doing smaller things until that point. So bye.